Good morning, everyone. How's everybody? Welcome to Recreational Knitting. My name is Karen, and I'm the hostess of this podcast that's really about knitting, but also living in a RV or motorhome the last almost 3 years now. Those of you who are returning, I thank you so much. I do appreciate your love and support. If you haven't been with us before, thank you. And hit the like, subscribe, and the bells and all of those things. It helps get the videos out to those people that might have interest in both knitting and RVing. And I do appreciate it. Thank you. Again, my name is Karen. I live with my husband Luke, and we are from the Mid-Atlantic region initially, moved to southern Florida, and from there we decided we were going to take an RV trip to see the national parks that would last approximately 18 months. We bought an RV, sold our home, our condo, and put our things in storage and headed out December 2019. And as you know, there soon after, COVID hit. And we've been on the road since. We volunteered at a wonderful campground, Laguna Seca Raceway. Those of you who know the race world. Interesting tidbit, Paul Newman, that's where he raced, and that's where he kept all of his race cars. Laguna Seca, it's outside of Monterey, California. We volunteered there as camp hosts for approximately 8 months. Had a ball, and once the vaccines came out, we got moving again. Right now, I'm sitting in a state park, Codorus State Park. It's in south central Pennsylvania near Gettysburg, closer to Hanover. My kids live about a half hour south of here, and this was about the closest place that we could find that had reservations for weekends. So, we're here. We just recently left Lum's Pond Park and Chincoteague National Seashore in Virginia, and you'll be seeing footage of that today, of Chincoteague. Those of you that may have read Misty of Chincoteague about the horses, Marguerite Henry was the author, and that story is a children's book, won the Newbery Award, I believe, and we went to visit Chincoteague Island. And I'm sorry that I haven't podcast for the last 2 weeks. There's several reasons for that. First of all, last weekend we were in Chincoteague, and we really did not have time. We took some amazing bike tours of the islands and saw some ponies, and it was just beautiful weather. The other part of that is I couldn't podcast outdoors because of the mosquitoes. They probably would have lifted me off. So it was pretty wild. Then my husband hurt his knee. Life. Anyway, I'm here to show you what I've done in the last 2 weeks, not 1 week. Unfortunately, I have no finished objects, but I have one that's almost finished. This is how much yarn I have left. On my Rocket Tee, this is the other. I have plenty of this. And this is the current state of my Rocket Tee. I had the sleeves I-cord done. This is the neckline. And I've gotten to this part here, and I think I have it on the back here. This is where I was 2 weeks ago. I've been a bad girl, and can you see that? It's like 2 stripes. And now I'm out of the mustard. So I have some decisions to make. Do I just want to do the I-cord binding in this? I think that's what I'm planning to do. And then the I-cord binding here with that. And it's going to be done. I just need to get my ready for some I-cord. I like to do I-cord. It's just there's a lot of stitches here to I-cord. But you may see this by the time the first snow falls. I don't think I mentioned this is September the 24th, I believe, 2022. Yes, that's what it is. Okay, great. Show you my oatmeal sweater. I've made a lot of progress on this week, this past 2 weeks. It's living in my Harrisville design bag. I want to get this done before we hit North Carolina, and I think I'll probably have that done. I was here for the sleeve, and I've knit that much so far, starting with decreases. And over here, I was on this sleeve, used that entire rest of the ball, stopped and started over here, just in case I decided I wanted a short sleeve. Nah, I don't. And I still had not finished the ribbing last time. I was right here. So I did about another inch and a half of the binding. But yeah, this is my, it's the same sweater pattern as that I have on. It's my go-to. It fits me well. I know the stitches. I can do it all in my sleep. Pretty much all in my sleep. I do have to look to see how many stitches to count on, but yeah. This is likely to get finished in the next week or 2 if I keep my mojo with it. I've been doing a lot of watching some things on Prime Video as the weather has turned cold on us, just like the last 2 days. And so in the evenings, I'm not sitting outdoors, but I'm kind of hibernating in the bedroom, and this is what I've been working on. So yeah, so that's looking pretty good. And I have 2 more balls out of this. I don't know what I was thinking when I purchased this yarn, but I have quite a bit left over. So I'll probably be making some hats or something with the leftovers. It's a beautiful yarn. It's made with Juniper Moons, organic, Patagonia. The color is sand, and I call it my oatmeal sweater. This is the same pattern. It's Trescao. I'm not sure how to say it, but I have reworked it so that it really isn't that same pattern any longer, but I know several of you have asked. That's what I started with my first sweater that I made out of this. So yeah, it's kind of, I've kind of made it my own now. So that's in my Harrisville design bag, sweater bag. It's the only place it will fit now. Let's see, I haven't done very much on these socks, but I have started the second one. Last time I think I showed you this. This is Bakery Bear's Crunkle sock pattern. This is West Yorkshire Farms? West York, words are really hard. West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. And it's one of the best sock yarns out there, in my humble opinion. I haven't used them all, but I've used quite a bit. This is what the pattern looks like. It is a paid pattern. It's by the Bakery Bears, who is Kay Jones. Crunkled socks. I did not continue this pattern on the top because I think it would bother me. Yeah, I've got a sensory thing, so yeah. Just made it plain on top, as you can see. So I started the second one. We were traveling, I think, from Chincoteague up to the Newark, Delaware area, and this is how much progress I made. The trip is probably about maybe 2 hours in the RV. So yeah, they're not going to be exact matches, but very, very close. I'm using these Zing needles. These are size 1. And I do magic loop with most of my socks. Once in a blue moon, I'll decide to use some double pointed needles, but it's rare. I get ladders more readily at that with those. And I keep that in my little sock pouch. This is one of my favorite bags. I just love the pattern. I know I've seen a lot of these on Etsy. I got mine on Etsy, and I cannot begin to tell you who the maker was. I'm very sorry, maker. What shall I show you next? Well, last week, was my cast-on itis, and I haven't. I've worked on a couple of those things. This is, again, one of my sweaters like I have on. And this is made with BC Garn. This is where I was last week. And I hadn't yet split for arms. I don't know whether you can see the richness of this yarn. It's 50% cotton, 50% wool. And it's organic, which is a nice thing. And I also started the sleeve. I took somebody on the comments below several months back said to get over the sleeve island thing, to when you use up one skein of yarn, switch to the sleeve, and that's what I've done on this particular sweater. That's the back, and that will be the front. I like this color. I bought this through Little Knits, which is a internet-only yarn store in Seattle. I think their business model is to buy closeout yarns and maybe yarn stores that are going out of business. I'm not sure exactly, but they have very good sales. They also buy discontinued yarns. So I'm not exactly sure if they still have this, but that's where I purchased this, and it's called BC Garn Bio Balance. And this is the colorway. Let's see if there's, nope, no color. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is 55% wool and 45% cotton. Bio Balance. Great yarn. This is the second sweater I've knit with it, and I have another sweater's worth in pink. So likely it'll be the same. It might not be. I might do a summer top with that. But and I'm keeping that currently until it outgrows in the castaway bag It's a yarn shop in Santa Rosa, California. If you've never been, I suggest you go if you're in the area. If you're not in the area and visiting, I suggest you go. It's a delightful little shop, lovely owner, Castaway. And they're, I think that's a cute name for a knitting shop. Okay, I have two more works in progress to show you. And one of them I've made pretty good progress on, I have to say. This is some yarn that was gifted to me by one of my subscribers. Thank you, you know who you are. This is, you get the tag, Tia's Terrific Threads. Can't read backwards and upside down. So yeah. Isn't that pretty? It's a cute card, I like it. And this is self-striping yarn, obviously. And this is the Graveyard. Let me get that right. Sorry. Historic Cemetery. So I'm not a big Halloween person, but I know a couple people that are. So this is where I was. Let me turn it the right way. This is where I was 2 weeks ago, and I've gotten the heel in. It's a heel flap gusset construction, and now I'm just on the foot. A few more inches and I'll be able to maybe do a toe. Yeah, I really like this yarn. This yarn is really delicious. It's 70-30, 30% nylon, and I do like it. And this is the Twizzler sock by Tangled Becca. I am thinking this is a free pattern, but I'm not certain. Twizzler sock. And that's the author, designer. You can see I've got a little coffee cup ring there going. These are really potato chip knitting. They're really fun. And that's why I've gotten so much done. It's almost vanilla. It's vanilla with sprinkles. I like it. It's good. I would recommend the yarn, 5 stars. The pattern, 5 stars. Doesn't get any better than that, does it? It does not. And I'm keeping this in a bag that I got from Simply Sock Yarn Company. Today's Good Mood, sponsored by Yarn. I like it. I like the bag. And my last whip is the One Skein shawl. One Skein September. Haven't mentioned it yet. How are you all doing with yours? I'm plodding along with mine. I wish I liked the pattern a little bit better. I have come to the realization that I am really, how do I want to put this nicely to myself? I really need just like knitting to make me feel good. But in that situation, you don't always get the pretty things. So I am making the Lone Shawl by Joji Locatelli, and this is what it is supposed to look like. You've seen it quite a bit on, if you've watched these vlogs. That's what it's going to look like, with tassels and everything. And this is how much yarn I have left. So I have I'm about halfway through the pattern. This is where I was the last time we chatted. And this is where I am now. I have one little complaint about the patterns, and this was on another shawl pattern that I use. I think it was the Light Hipster, where she does a garter tab, and then you get this little bump. I like my garter tab to be way smaller than that. So I know I have to block vigorously for a variety of reasons, so you can see the actual lace that's in there, which is difficult to see at this point. But that's my complaint about this particular pattern. I wish I knew that that had that on there, because it's a feature that I really do not like. But that said, we've got some pretty lace going on here. Can you see that? Can you see the stitches? So when that is blocked out, I think it's going to be pretty. This is Hedgehog Fibers of Unknown Color. I wound it up for a project probably last year. Started the project, hated the project, frogged the project. So it sat, and I do like the colors. Can you see all the colors that are in there? It would go with anything. It will go with blue, it will go with pink, it will go with orange, it will go with anything. And obviously green. But I'm getting there. Comment below where you are, where you think percentage-wise you are. I know we've got a few finishers. I've seen that on Ravelry. I'm bad when it comes to responding to things these last couple of weeks. So I'm going to be better about that, and I promise I will do better. I think that's the only administrative. You've got until October the 15th to finish it, even though oneskeinseptember means the month, but I'm giving you a couple extra weeks because life. I used to work in the public schools. Those of you who have children, I know September is the craziest month. Those of you who are teachers, September is the craziest month, except for May or June, wherever you quit. And then the other ones in between. But September, I remember hauling my butt home and, fixing dinner and basically falling asleep on the couch and then taking myself to bed for an entire month of September when I was working in the public schools. So I've given you guys some leniency. Let's get these finished. Remember to post on Ravelry. If you have trouble with that, leave a comment and we'll figure out another way to do that. Make sure that you're registered on the Make Along podcast, because that's where I'm picking the winners from. I'm matching up who's finished and who's put on that. So make sure you're on there. Get your credit. Hopefully you'll be able to win something. The prize is an $8 or whatever you deem needed, a pattern from Ravelry. And again, if you don't do Ravelry for whatever reason, let me know and I will purchase it and send it to you via United States Postal Service. Ravelry is the way to go, though, if you can do that, because it's just, I can gift it to you. Just a little chat about what our plans are in the next couple of months. We are in South Central now to see my children, so we will be doing some things with them. My daughter is a teacher and works Monday through Friday, and my other daughter works Wednesday through Sunday at an animal shelter. And we're never going to get everybody together at the same time, I don't think, which is very disappointing to me. But it is what it is. I'll at least get to see them. Hopefully do a little, a few field trips, maybe a little shopping. I haven't seen them since December 2019 and December 2018. So it's been a while. Between the pandemic and my travel and their work and money and life. So anyway, so I'm looking forward to that. One of them is coming up here tomorrow and spending the day with us. And from here, we're going to go to outside of DC. We'll probably do a day of DC. Even though that's where my husband and I met, even though we lived near there, he never got to see the Holocaust Museum. So that's one of the things that we really want to try to see. Another thing is one of the museums, I believe right now, has an exhibit on some fibers. So if I'm correct with that, and I haven't screwed up my dates, we will maybe be able to get into one of the museums there. Again, I don't know whether I'll be able to film, so just what it is. And we'll probably do some exploration around the DC, Northern Virginia area. And from there, we're going to the Outer Banks. So we're hoping that hurricanes stay away. We realize that we're right in the middle of hurricane season, and hopefully we'll miss it all. And hopefully we won't have any that hit land. Although it looks like Tampa, Florida might be getting hit as we speak. So I will leave you here. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week. I promise I will be back next week, probably filming from the same location. Maybe it'll be an actual sunny day. And I'll show you a little bit of maybe some Amish country. People are very interested in that. We're very close. So after this, you'll see some Chincoteague Island, you'll see some Delaware, you'll see some Maryland, you'll see all kinds of things. So until then, make sure that you knit what you want and make yourself happy. Bye.